Sailing for days in the open sea, hunting the blood of my enemies, searching for gold with Gilmekki, we're the pirates of the coast.
This is Rich, and you're watching my YouTube channel where normally I'm playing role-playing games with friends, but now this is the second episode of Bsawr, where we talk about role-playing games. I've got my friend from the other side of the United States. Josh, how are you doing, Josh?
I'm doing well. It's yet another crazy Monday, but the Monday's over, so I'm doing better.
That's true. That's true. Monday's over. It's once you get over it. So we talk about Black Sails, which is the Stars series about pirates. This is episode 2, and there will be spoilers. And if you're not watching the show,
you should be.
Yeah, thank you. And we're also going to talk about Black Sails because it's like the perfect Apocalypse World game. So fans of Apocalypse World, again, need to be watching it. But here's how we're going to talk about scenes from episode 2 that we feel like could have easily taken place at a table. And at the end, we're going to talk about running. Because we like jogging and running, and I don't know. What do you have like a line? We'll talk about the running thing, but think about it. Do you have a line where certain minutes per mile becomes a run versus a jog?
Think about we'll get there.
Yep. All right, so this is episode 2, or II in Roman numerals, because all of the episodes are Roman numerals in this wondrous thing. So let's talk about some of the scenes. So we're not going to go moment for moment. We're going to talk about the cool moments that happened in the episode that felt like PC moves or hard moves or really cool scenes where mechanics took place. You listed a whole bunch of them, Josh. So do you want to list off with one of them?
Well, yeah, this episode is the second episode, and so there's quite a bit of pipe laying for setting things up. The first episode was all like, check out our characters and whatever, and there's a lot more building towards what we are going to do for this season, which isn't bad because it's all very entertaining. But for our purposes and for our Apocalypse World analysis of Black Sails, we're going to mostly focus on 3 scenes. The first is when Jack Rackham and Charles Vane are talking with Max, and they're being overheard, listened to, eavesdropped by Silver. And then Eleanor finds out that Max is selling the schedule that she wants her allies to have, and there's a confrontation there. And then the episode ends with a very poorly managed handoff, which really could be the final couple scenes of a fiasco game, if we're really going to push the RPG comparison, because it goes so totally wrong for almost everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's a move snowball. Absolutely, it's the picture of a move snowball.
Yes, it is, and it is glorious and awesome.
Yes, so true, so true. So as a reminder, we're going to be talking about Jack Rackham, who is an operator, and Eleanor, who is the hard holder. Vane, we have determined, is a threat. So we determined that in the first episode. We also have John Silver, who, Josh, is a...
Oh, he is definitely the battle babe. And we have Max, who is a Skinner.
Yep, Max is Skinner. Yep. So let's see. Do you want to lead off? Because you pointed out the talk with Max. I think that was really great.
Yeah. So and this is a scene that comes about because the MC is dicking with his players. Because you've got kind of 2 camps so far. You've got excuse me, Flint and his crew and his ally Eleanor are over here, and then you have Vane and Rackham, who's his quartermaster, are dealing with Silver and Max, trying to get Flint's map schedule, and they're operating independently thus far. And Flint and his crew don't know what's happening, and Flint's allies don't know what's happening, and that's really not good for drama. So the MC very wisely uses Mr. Gage, who is an NPC, to quietly just drop a hint at Eleanor on this side, what they're doing over here. And Eleanor and Max happen to be sleeping with each other, so there's some relationship tension there as well. And so Eleanor confronts Max and tries to tell her, I need the schedule. I need you to drop that thing that you're doing because I have it. I need it for my purposes. It's just glorious because Max the Skinner is pretty much planning on taking her giant chunk of the booty and taking Eleanor away. We can go live our lives together somewhere else, and which sounds great, except the Skinner is asking the Hardholder to leave the Hardhold on session 2. So that's not going to happen. So Eleanor tries to use a seducer manipulate on Max to get her to hand over the schedule and drop the deal. The only problem is she gets a 7 to 9. She doesn't get that 10 plus to just get cooperation. She gets the 7 to 9, and she has to actually demonstrate the consequences of not going along with her, which in this case is a whole lot of pain and violence enacted upon Max, because Eleanor is sitting there backed up by Gage and Billy. So if Max doesn't cooperate, she's going to be beaten and possibly like maimed and crippled because these are huge, huge stakes. And Max caves and cooperates, but that's not consequenceless. Because their relationship, Max and Eleanor's relationships, is pretty much destroyed by this one role. And things will snowball from there in later episodes as well. And I mean, we're in season 2, and it's still snowballing. And it's a lovely scene.
It is. It is so cool to watch. It is. I can almost imagine the players looking at each other and saying, you know, if you do this, there's no going back.
Yeah.
It's real. It's pretty realistic. Like, once you threatened to harm me for this thing when I was going to use it to benefit us, oof, yeah, choosing the hold over love. And this was after the first scene, or first episode, the first session, when after she got punched in the face, Eleanor went to Max, and this was her port in a storm, and here it just flips. Like a day, 2 days later.
Yes.
Rough.
Awesome.
Oh man, love the drama. So you want to jump and talk about the trade-off, the really bad handoff, or did you want to hit the Eleanor finding?
Yeah. Well, so right before we have that confrontation, we had Rackham and Vane are talking with Max, with Silver listening in, and it's really nice because as far as Rackham and Vane understand, Singleton is almost ready to take over the ship, and Flint doesn't know where the schedule is, and all of a sudden they hear that Flint has killed Singleton and found the schedule on Singleton's corpse, which makes no sense according to what they know. So they think that they've been double-crossed. They think that Max is working for Singleton. They think all of these things that are patently not true. And the MC waits just long enough for that to have some fun drama, and then Rackham rolls a Rita Sitch because he wants to figure out what's happening. It's a very charged situation, and he wants to know what is the deal. And among other things, I think one of the interesting things about this scene, when you talk about it in terms of Apocalypse World, is Rackham's a PC. He sat at the table. The player knows what's happening because he watched the scene over there happen. He just wasn't part of it. So he knows what's happening, and he wants his character to know what's happening. So he rolls his Rita Sitch, and he gets probably a 10+, and he knows which questions to ask in order for Rackham to figure things out. And this is perfectly legit, right? And it's not just legit, but it helps build the story in a more interesting way. Because we had the fun and hijinks of Rackham and Vane running around trying to figure out what is happening, and that's done now. We need to move on. So Rackham makes his 10 plus read a sitch, and suddenly he understands everything. He says, oh no, wait. Flint is trying to control his crew so that when he had to beat Singleton to a bloody pulp, he accused him of being a thief, and that took care of 2 stones and 1 bird or something like that. And I got that reversed. But he gets it, right? Off of just like juxtaposition and assumption, and just he figures it all out. And it's beautiful, and it allows the story to go forward, and it allows Jack Rackham to have one of the few moments where one of the PCs really shows off how he's awesome. So yeah, that's a fun scene.
Yeah, I'm going off book here, but you remind me that at the beginning of this episode is where there's a pack alpha roll by Captain Flint, where he's been accused. Right, it was the beginning of this episode when the fight happened, right? If I remember correctly.
I'm sorry?
The fight between Singleton and Flint happened at the beginning of this episode.
That's the very end of episode 1.
You're right. That's right.
Episode 2 starts with him as a bloody corpse and Flint deciding what to do. So, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So, yeah, if you want to watch the end of first episode, that is a pack alpha roll where you only get one option, and that is they do what you want. They do fight back over it, and you do have to make an example out of somebody, which was Singleton. Crap! It just popped in my head. That's what happens when I go off book. Yeah. So let's jump ahead to the horrible handoff, because that move snowball is just gorgeous.
Yes, it's glorious. So first of all, there's Vane being a wonderful pack alpha warlord. So you want to talk about that, Rich?
Yeah. So the situation is that through an intermediary, John Silver, the Battle Babe, has set up a meet, and he's going to be getting those pearls that we talked about before. So they're like 5,000 pieces of 8 worth of $5,000 worth of pearls that Vane and Rackham have, and they want to trade it for this map, right? It's just for the schedule, and they meet in this dark place. It's kind of near the rocks and away from everybody. It's near a little leprous colony, you find out, and so the Vane's waiting around. He's a warlord. We've got him as a pretty nasty threat. And this old man, who is not John Silver, comes walking up, and he says, you give me the pearls. And Rackham says, listen, Vane, he's got all the leverage, which is like straight from the move of like a manipulate, right? It's straight from the move of manipulate. He has all the leverage, but Vane, I see this as the MC doesn't even say. I do not think you have leverage. We're not rolling dice, right? Vane immediately does a move. He responds with attack someone suddenly, directly, and very hard, and then offer to negotiate or demand concession or obedience. He stabs the emissary. The little old man just stabs it right in the heart, lets him drop to the ground, and then starts screaming, "We've got your pearls. We're going to take them back." Poor Rackham is like, oh my god, this is really important. We have to do this tonight, Vane. You cannot mess this up for me. Vane is not budging. Oh, that was just a great little moment of, you don't have to say, the dice don't always have to hit the table and manipulate. If you don't really feel like there's legit leverage, then don't allow them to manipulate for something that doesn't make sense. You can't just. That's why fiction first is great in Apocalypse World. Any follows for that, or any thoughts on that particular?
No, I mean, I think from there it snowballs because then it quickly degenerates into a chase scene, because Flint and Gage and Billy show up, also trying to find Silver, and so everyone's running around the dark, rocky dunes. And at one point, Rackham is just okay. Fine, I'm going to seize by force. I'm going to get the damn schedule, and we're going to be done with this. And he rolls his dice and he fails. And the MC says, "Oh, okay, you failed. Here's my move. You reach forward, you grab John Silver by the shoulder, you pull him around. It's not John Silver. It's one of the lepers, and he has like no eye, and his jaw doesn't work, and he's terrifying in the firelight. So roll act under fire. Sure." Jack Rackham rolls his act under fire and totally bombs that one too.
Yes.
I mean, it's 2 failures in a row, and I like to think Jack rolled a 2 on the second one. So the
he's an operator, so he's got a really good cool. Anyway, he had to roll like a 2. So
yeah. So the MC said, okay, 2 failures in a row. Have to make the really hard move now. The leopard turns around, jaw falling off of his face. You stagger back, and you fall into the drink, into the water, and you lose the pearls. You lose the 5,000 pesos worth of pearls that is the significant portion of your ship's treasure trove. You lose the pearls. Yeah.
Take their stuff.
And then the MC says, and that's what we're doing tonight. We're done. See you next week.
This is the image of him in the water, and the pearls sinking to the bottom of the sea. So cool.
Yeah. Oh. Lovely.
Man.
But, yeah. And it's like you say, Rackham's a operator, so he's got a pretty good cool. So it's not like he got a total of 2. But so he didn't get. It's not the level. It's not the number on the dice that matters, right? It's the bracket. So when you roll a 6, it's the same as rolling a 2. It's all miss. It's all bad. And when it's that second failure in a row, regardless what the numbers might have been within the bracket, yeah, that's the time to push your hard move and make them feel the pain.
Yeah, boy, and that's just a great pain because it's right there on the list, right? Take their stuff away. 5,000 pearls, $5,000 worth of pearls, nasty, and it sets up a lot of desperation in the future. So it's really, really fantastic. It's a great hard move.
Yes,
because it doesn't shut anything off, and it kind of rolled back for a second. There was a moment I remembered as we were talking about it, is when Billy, who's Captain Flint's, was he a Sergeant at Arms, or I can't remember. Okay, so when the first time that Vane kills the emissary guy, kills the old man, you think, oh well, I guess John Silver's screwed. Then all of a sudden another dude walks up. It's like, you give me the pearls, and you're like, oh, this is kind of boring. Well, sure enough, the MC did too. He thought it was boring, so that's when he made a move, and that's when Flint and everybody had started the chase scene. So I thought that was a cool little moment there. So that was episode 2, right? Anything else to say about episode 2?
I don't think so. Like I said, it's a lot of very, very entertaining pipeline. But yeah, I like it.
Wait, let's talk about the Barth Fourth piratical. Like the Barth Fourth Apocalyptica is one of the things that you should do as an MC, and there was a moment that you pointed out that doesn't have any PCs, but we're running good on time, so break that one out. I thought that was really cool.
Sure, yeah. So Flint figures out that Silver is the one who has the schedule, and he's made it onto the island, and he is somewhere in Nassau, and so Flint, Gage, and Billy are going through Nassau trying to find him. Billy finds Mr. Gage sitting on a balcony drinking some whiskey and says, I've been running all up and down everywhere, and you've just been sitting here. And Gage says, well, he's trying to sell the schedule. It's going to go for a huge amount of price, and you can't pay that in gold because gold is too heavy. So he's going to have his payment in gems or pearls. So I've been sitting here watching down below because down below is the appraiser for the island, who is plainly some like down on his luck nobleman who got hoisted out of wherever he was, and he's found himself on Nassau, and now he just appraises artwork for pirates as his living. But he's down on in the pathway, and Gage is just waiting to see where he goes, because eventually he's going to end up wherever silver is, or the people who are paying silver for the schedule are. So it's just really nice Barforth Piratica of here's how the island works. This is who's here, what they do, and the sort of situations that arise when pirates interact, which is always fun.
Yes, that was great. I'm glad you pointed that out, because that has probably the funniest line of the entire episode as well. You should totally check it out. So we will close episode 2, and we're going to talk about our jogging of late. It's been a few weeks since we last recorded. How are things going for you, Josh? You're still training for the half marathon. How much longer until it happens?
It's the beginning of May, so like a month now. Which is daunting. So yeah, it's real close. I've got a long run coming this weekend to sort of stretch myself out, getting ready for it. But my regular 5K every other day runs have been going really well. I've gotten some increasingly low pace. I actually cracked 7 minutes a kilometer on Thursday.
I saw that on Runkeeper, man. I'm so happy we're friends on Runkeeper. I can keep track of that. I saw your little goal thing hit. That was awesome.
Yeah. In answer to your question though about what qualifies as a run and what doesn't, I actually run intervals. So I've got a little my phone and my headphones, and it tells me, okay, now walk for a bit. Okay, now run for a bit. Okay, now walk for a bit, and they're all timed. So at this point, I am doing a minute 20 seconds run and then 50 seconds walk, and then it just does that over and over and over again. And I think about like 10 cycles of that gets me 5K. And as I train and as I progress, I increase the run time and decrease the walk time very slowly but surely. I am due to do that soon. I'm probably just going to wait until the other side of the half marathon before I adjust, and then I will be doing a minute 30 running and 45 seconds of walking, because the running increases more than the walking decreases, but slowly but surely the ratio tilts towards running. So that's what I do.
Nice. I remember one time I did this a couple of years ago, but I ended up in a half marathon, and I was like right in the middle of an interval, like a group of interval runners, and so I would pass them up during their walk period. And they would do their jogging. Their jog was a little bit faster than mine, so they would catch, and catch up to me, and they pass me a little bit, and then they start to walk, and I'm past them. And we did that for like 4 miles until I finally got pissed off, and I just kept running as fast as I could. I have to be faster than the interval guys. I have to. And then I've tired myself out in the last little bit. They passed me. So not too smart to burn yourself out. The interval people beat me. My running has not been super great. Still doing my Saturday long runs, although I overslept this past Saturday, which is good. I did a 6-mile run on a beach trail, which was really, really fun. But my morning runner jogger buddy has been having some problems with his glutes, and he's actually gone to a chiropractor and a massage therapist. He's still having a lot of pain. So we bailed on running running in this morning, and we're hoping to pick it back up on Wednesday. So I'm just going to have to start doing some afternoon runs to keep things going, because it's just where I'm at. If I don't, like, I'm gonna have to physically go another place because where I am, there's just way too much traffic for me to be able to listen to music or anything. And that's what I really enjoy when I jog. It's like listen to podcasts, listen to music. I used to play Zombies Run. Have you ever tried that Zombies
I did
Run?
it for a bit. My wife did it for a lot longer. I just ended up doing straight, flat, no frills intervals because it was easier for me.
Do what you do, man, and it's awesome that you're narrowing it and getting ready for the half. That's so exciting.
The half marathon in a month, and then in January is the full marathon.
January full marathon, so exciting. And that's the Disney one, right?
Yes, that is the Run Disney Marathon at Disney World, and then we are actually after that we are getting on a cruise ship and going to Disney's private island, Castaway Cay, where they have a 5K that goes around the island.
That's so cool. It kind of sounds like a Wii Sports thing, you know. It's like
yes. As I was explaining to Megan earlier today, I've finally cracked and I understand run culture because running is pretty absurd all by itself, right? I'm going to run in circles for an hour. It's already ridiculous. So like you get deeper and deeper into run culture, and it's all about just making the running more ridiculous. So it's like, let's run in circles in costume. Let's run in circles around an island. Let's run in circles racing a horse, which is a thing that they do in England. There are and all of the run stuff that you look at is just variations on how can we make this more absurd.
Yep, beer runs, donut runs. This right here, the mud run, of course. You know, how many silly things can you do while running just to break up the quote-unquote monotony?
Yeah.
Very astute. Awesome. Well, anything else, Josh? You ready to go?
That is it. Done.
Cool.
Boom.
We hope that you've enjoyed this Black Sails Apocalypse World and Running episode. If you've got any feedback for us, let us know. And we'll be hitting episode 3 soon. Have a great night. Thanks, Josh.
Good night.